welcome to the Shift Flow. I am Dani.
And I'm Mo.
This is where practical advice meets spiritual guidance.
We're two individuals with the joint mission of bringing light, love, and healing to the collective consciousness.
This container we've created is an incredibly safe space for us all to have conversations which lead us toward liberation, acceptance, and radical love of self.
So if you found this podcast, if by no accident, you've been guided here because there's a part of you who's ready to stop making excuses and start living the life you've always imagined.
Yes, so join us here every Thursday. We are so excited to have you. We welcome you here with open arms and to your new community. Let's go. Okay, so first I want to start with a little bit of breath work and just get our energy clear and our intention for today on point. But I know that you were saying that your energy was feeling a little bit woo earlier. So what do you think that was from?
Well, I have like some really big news, which you know.
Wait, where's the drum roll? Where's the drum roll?
Let's get the media kit out.
I didn't.
Did you do it? Okay, good. I didn't hear it. Here, I want to hit it on my side too. So anyway, so Dave is, first of all, can I just give a shout out to Dave? Because
shout out to Davey Dave.
He is seriously the most powerful manifester I've ever been around. I am so attracted to this man. as I'm thinking, I'm like, my God. He received a promotion, and so we are moving to Texas. Yay!
I'm gonna do clapping.
Yeah. I'm so excited, seriously. So it's really fun, and what's really, really wild, and the synchronicities that are happening around us are just, it's beautiful. It's so exciting. And so anyway, we have told a real estate agent here locally that we would be open if someone wanted to see our house and the price was right, that we weren't on the market, but we'd be open to showing it. And we've been doing this for like about a year, and we've had people come over and look at it. Well, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we received a call that someone wanted to come see it. This is before the promotion. The promotion just happened Sunday. So this person wanted to come see the house, right? And we're like, yeah, this is a great time. We'd be fine. We're not in a hurry to do anything, but yeah. So anyway, they come this Saturday, they look at it, they love it. We find out today they put an offer in. And also we were going to reach out to her and say, this is a cool lesson for everybody. We were going to reach out to the real estate agent and maybe find a way to, encourage an offer because we hadn't heard anything. And we both said, let the opportunities come to us. Let's trust in God. Let's trust in the universe, because pushing and our human nature is to want to create action rather than, to live with deliberate intention every day. And, so anyway, I know this is kind of a long story, but I think it's important to say that this really big thing happened and we continued to have this energy is let the opportunities come to us. Mm-hmm. And abundance is always flowing if you keep your channel right, baby. So we're excited.
Congratulations. That
you.
Was such a fast acting change in your reality. And congrats to Dave. Of course, I've already blessed and loved and given all of that support, of course, for you guys. And I had a feeling that it was going to happen pretty quickly. So I understand
me too.
that. Yeah, right? And just like the alignments of it all when you remove that block, because the only reason we really push and we force is out of a place of fear, is out of a place of lack. Oh, I don't have the answers. Oh, this hasn't been resolved in my life, so I need to force that answer. I need to push. I need to persevere, right? And then we get so depleted, and then we never get to where we really want to go. And then on top of that depletion, we're just disappointed, right? And when you embody, when you become magnetic, like you start to embody that true statement of everything is coming to me. Everything is exactly as it should be right now. Everything is all on time. There is a path that is predestined for our lives, and whatever is meant to be will be, and it will be exactly as it should be in each and every moment. You become magnetic. You start to be the center of the universe, where you pull those opportunities towards you without even fucking trying, just with your energy, right? And that's exactly what you and Dave did. And it's just like amazing. And also I can imagine, going back to what you stated earlier about your energy, like you're a little bit frazzled, right? That was really quick. He's a master manifestor, but guess what, my love? You amplify that.
Oh,
times
yes,
two. You bring the feminine perspective into his reality, which amplifies his abilities, and he amplifies yours. So you're doing it together.
Yeah. And we definitely feel that way, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And it really is what you said. I just want to stop for a minute and say thank you for all that magic you just said, because that's a real, I hope everyone is listening, and if you need to go back, re-listen to the whole thing, because that's a powerful key. Yeah. That message was fire, first of all. And just also, that is a really important thing to having the life you want. It is like the most important thing. You know, like seeking joy, being intentional about having the kind of life that you want to have, seeing the things you want to see, trusting. You know, it's that truly, if it feels like right now that message sounds crazy and that you can't believe it and that you've never experienced it, trust me, I used to feel that way too.
Yeah,
and
so did
I. And I used to want to force, and I used to want to, you know, just question everything and feel like it. I don't know. I guess it's just the control piece of our humanness, you know. So ultimately, I just want to say that was really great. I think listen to it over and over again, because that's a key. That was a huge key, and it can unlock all the doors.
Hey. So, in order to get our energy really grounded, and if you guys are listening to this, what you might not know is Mo and I do some sort of activity or intention setting or like ceremony before every call. Mm-hmm. Really, that's really how I like to live my life, and I know you like to do this as well, is set an intention and get clear and get really grounded in this present moment, so that whatever needs to be said, whatever needs to flow out in this conversation today and conversations moving forward, our higher selves are leading, meaning our higher state of consciousness, the piece of source, the piece of God, whatever you want to call it, that we all have within us, is front and center stage, and the ego is a tool that's sitting next to us that we can access whenever we want, right? So instead of being kind of all over the place and chaotic and not necessarily present, like worried about the house selling or the move or me moving to Colombia or going to Austin or all of this crazy stuff that's happening. Beautiful stuff.
Yes,
I
beautiful.
just got chills. Cool. I'm so present right now. I just got chills in remembering like this is happening for both of us. Right?
Yeah.
And also, it's so impactful to take 5-7 minutes to really recenter yourself. And like I said, ask the ego, the fear, the doubt, whatever's presenting itself, to just kind of take a little side seat. And you know, you're in the driver's seat, your higher self is in the driver's seat. And so what we do and what we want to do today intentionally is breath work.
Yeah.
And breath work is an incredible tool to improve your mental health. And I truly, truly believe, and will stand by this, you know, who knows how long, but I have stood by this theory since I learned it in my teacher training, is depression, when you're thinking about the past, you will or can experience symptoms of depression. When you're thinking about the future, you can or will experience symptoms of anxiety.
Yeah.
So what do you lean towards more?
For
Sadness
sure, anxiety.
or anxiety? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too. Me too. And
Yeah.
there have
I'm
been
like
many moments.
spinning, man. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's great because we also use that as a tool to create and to build. We know how to
Exactly. Yeah.
transmute that. But that's a good question also for our listeners. You know, do you find yourself more focused on the past, present, or future? And in that, you know, in the present moment, in presence, what is there? You know, what emotions are present for you in the present?
For me today, right now, actually, right now, I'm feeling really super calm. You know, today was a little, I had for sure some anxiety thinking about the future. And there was also some sadness with thinking about, just some of the changes that come with relationships that I have currently, just, the ones that are physically here with me, so there was some of that. So there was like a confluence of emotions that I was experiencing, while also, though, I will say, while also just being very aware of it. So it wasn't overtaking me. I was definitely having to coach myself today. And Dave did a beautiful job. I know you asked me who, but we can talk about it sometime. But Dave really beautifully held some space for me today when he could see that, and he could sense, but because he's so aware, so beautifully aware, he could sense it without me saying anything. So yeah, this has been an energetically interesting day. And I feel really calm, and especially just listening to you talk about our intention for why we do this, just that alone has really helped bring me to this grounded moment that I'm feeling. So thanks for leading us into this.
Of course. And that's groundedness is a very present emotion in the present. When you're when you are experiencing presence, all I really feel is contentment.
Yeah.
You know? Because you are present with what you already have, and what we already have is a lot. So you're not needing more because you're here right now with your breath. Before we do this breathing activity, I guess if you guys are listening and you want to participate, do it. It's going to be like 3-4 minutes. Do it with us. Notice how your energy changes. This is to go back to what I was saying about experiencing symptoms of depression or anxiety. This pulls you into the present, so you are fully aware of what's happening right now within yourself, within your physical body. You're aware of the breath, and it's going to be pretty easy, but if it's your first time, it'll be challenging. Just know that, and know that the ego, the mind, wants to creep in and say, you can't do this, what are you doing? Or the body will start to tingle, or you'll start to feel like different sensations, and that is the mind trying to tell you to stop. But really all you're doing is oxygenating the blood. You're pumping more blood to your tissues, more oxygen to your tissues and to your blood. So yeah, it's going to feel new. So lean into that. And trust yourself and trust your lungs and your capacity to do this type of work. Mo, what is your intention? Meaning, what is your goal that you're focusing all of your energy on for this episode today?
Being present. I'm going to follow the theme and really lean into this conversation that I'm super excited to have with you. So I want to be present. I want to hear it all, and I want to be here for it all. How about you?
I want to allow Source to use my vessel to move through me. So whatever messages come through, I am calling in divine guidance with them.
Perfect.
Higher self.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to close our eyes first for a moment. Drop into the belly, drop into the body, relax the belly, relax the abdomen. And as you do, just start to deepen your breath naturally. Breathe in, expand your lungs and expand your belly. Breathe out of your mouth, let it go. 2 more like that. Big inhale through your nose. Extend the breath. Exhale out of the mouth, let it go. Inhale, focusing on your intention, finding an intention, gratitude, presence, peace. Exhale, releasing any anticipation, worry, or stress. Continue with this breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. As you do, I'm going to explain our next breath. We're going to inhale through the nose for 3 seconds. We're going to exhale out of the mouth for 3 seconds. Keep your eyes shut. Find a nice, tall spine, belly drawing in slightly. Keep focusing on your intention. We'll take one more breath together to prepare. Big inhale through your nose. Breathe, expand the belly outwards. Exhale out of the mouth, let it go. When you're ready, inhale through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Out, 3, 2, 1. Continue with this breath. I'm going to do the breathing with you. You will hear me breathing. That is how you should sound as well. So there is force, there is power behind this breath. And when you inhale, I want you to do your best to not tense up your jaw, your neck, or your chest or shoulders. Try to remain relaxed. Yes, you are pushing yourself a little bit. We're going to be here for another minute. I'll be right there with you. More seconds. Can you add a little bit more force, a little bit more power, a little bit more prana, life force, fire? Three, 2, last one. Big inhale, breath through the nose. 3, 2, 1. You're going to hold the breath in. This is where the challenge is going to be. Relax into it, nice Mo. Tuck the chin slightly. Hold the breath in. Draw your lower belly in. Focus on the center of your forehead. Keep holding until I say so. Three, 2, 1. Exhale, let it go. Big inhale. Big exhale. Inhale, reach your arms up above your head. Keep your eyes closed. Interlace your fingers. Find a stretch. Come back to the body. Feel your feet grounding down into the earth. Pulling your energy, your soul, fully into this moment. Remaining present with the words that we speak. As you listen to this podcast, you will pick up exactly what you need. Your subconscious will grab onto exactly what you need to hear in this moment of your life. Big inhale, breath. Release the hands down. Exhale, release. open and close the jaw. Maybe circle out the shoulders, release some tension. When you're ready, start to come back. Here we go. I think that's what we needed for our day.
Yeah, that was great.
Perfect.
The breath work, I'll say for a minute there, I was like, ooh, I'm feeling like some kind of way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was great.
Breathwork does that. Breathwork does that. It's my favorite. I love doing the holds, holding my breath
Me
in.
too.
Because it at first there's this tension.
Yeah.
And when you learn how to soften your physical body into that tension, it's almost like a metaphor for life, right? Like, how can you soften and find the peace within the most difficult aspects? And when you learn to soften that upper part of your body and your shoulders and just like lean into the discomfort, then boom, that euphoric sense starts to come in and you're like floating.
Yeah.
Right? Your nervous system, the electrical wires that are literally wired throughout our body start to calm down and release stress. So
yeah, that was so good. Thank you so much, and thanks for the explanation, because I think it's also really important for people to understand, you know, what it can do for you, and they experience it, hopefully, and there's more of that, where that came from.
So much more. So, what the fuck are we talking about today?
We're talking about who the fuck we are.
Exactly. So, Mo, who the fuck are you?
You know, it's so funny, and I knew you were going to ask me that point blank too, like that, which is so funny because, you know, that question is so funny. For a very long time, you know, you want to go into all the things about your life that you do and not who you are. And so who the fuck I am is a very sensitive, very loving being. And I love to connect with people in a really soul-connected, heart-connected kind of way, very deeply. I love to laugh. I love to experience joy. I love to experience adventure. And, you know, I am a person who is learning to more and more every day trust fully in God and the universe and everything that's meant for me. And I'm ready to learn, change, and grow every day. And I guess that's probably in a nutshell who the fuck I am.
Right. And we wanted to talk about the topic of your identity. Right?
Yeah.
The journey of self-exploration. And I'm not sure why, but I just got a little teary-eyed thinking about it. And I think it's because it's such a beautiful journey, you know? And there are people that are going to hear us and how we talk about being ever-changing, constantly evolving beings. There are people that are going to love that and want that. And then there are going to be people that want to judge that and question it because they don't understand it and they want to remain the same. And I would be lying if I didn't say that I would be lying if I said I didn't or have not thought about the fact that maybe my life would be easier if my soul chose to remain the same.
Yeah.
But the thing about identity is, for me, there are a few, maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 key components that have made me since day one, right? And then there are all of these other components. They're like little sublets or subcomponents of the true essence of who I am that change and evolve and expand in many different ways, right? And so it's a tricky subject, which is why I want to talk about it. It's very philosophical. But you can't get to this understanding. You can't get to even say what you just said to me directly of like, this is who I am. if you don't explore yourself, if you don't take the journey inward, the journey of self-exploration, which leads to self-awareness, which leads to self-acceptance, which leads to self-love, which leads to love outside of ourselves, which leads to expansion everywhere else in our lives, right? And that's what's crazy about identity, about the ego wanting to latch so much onto these things that we believe that we are. Right? So there's a lot of depth there, and I'm excited to pop the cap on this champagne bottle because we're about to be doing champagne showers, baby.
Yes, we love showers. We love our celebratory showers.
There's so much to explore here. Yes, there's so much to explore here. So
well, and I'm just so stoked that you want to talk about this too, because I feel like this episode is going to have such a vibration within your body listening to this, watching this.
I feel it right now.
I know. This is a great conversation. And I think what's going to be really fun is all the questions that I hope that as you're listening and watching, that I'm just excited to hear what those questions are and how every one of you explore it, because I know that I leave every episode with you, Dani. I have grown as a person, and I am questioning a lot about who the fuck I am and what the fuck I want and all those things, you know? So I think this conversation is going to be great for that. Yeah. And who the fuck are you? Should I ask you that, or you want to tell us at the end?
Who the fuck am I? I'm a woman. I'm a creator. I am also an incredibly sensitive being. And also, let's not forget, we are limitless beings as well. We are unlimited. So this ebbs and flows, right? But going back to kind of what I said earlier is like, what are the core things that have stayed with me my whole life? Core attributes, core characteristics, core interests. Let's start there. That will probably stay with me until I leave this vessel and turn into stardust, only to rain back down into a new incarnation. Yeah. Right?
Oh my God, I love that.
I would say, to my core, I am a lover. I am a giver. I am somebody who loves to cultivate joy and to play. I have always been that girl that's like, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Yes, let's do the fucking work.
Yeah.
And let's have fun. So I work hard and I play hard. You know, and play hard for me doesn't mean going and binge drinking my life away so that I can numb myself on the weekend.
Yeah.
No shade, been there.
Yeah.
But play hard means like working hard to create freedom. I'm a freedom fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I am a freedom fighter.
Yeah.
I want us all to be as free as we possibly can be. I'm expressive. I'm loud. I'm an entertainer at times. I'm a model at times. I'm a sexy panther at times, you know? And it's like all of these qualities, all of these are like archetypes. They're all hats that we can wear, or not masks necessarily to put on, but pieces that lie within ourselves that we can activate and utilize in each and every moment when it's right. I'm an athlete. You know, I fucking love working out. Since I was in diapers, I've been playing sports.
Yeah.
I started skiing when I was 3 years old. I've been an athlete my entire life. I'm very, my build is very athletic and very strong. And sometimes I struggle with accepting that, to be honest. Sometimes I struggle with how masculine my body looks at times. Like, there's feminine attributes, of course, but like my shoulders, you know, athletes have broad shoulders. I come from a sea of giant people. That's my family. You know, we're tall. We are super tall. But I think the point that I'm trying to get to is I'm multifaceted. I'm multidimensional. You know, I'm a healer. And where I'm at in this journey, in this position that I'm at in my journey right now, I've realized since I had that near-death experience, it's almost as if my subconscious has been leading me to all of these parts of me and saying, you know, because of that, it's time to wake up and look at yourself. And as time goes on, whatever's needed to be revealed will be revealed to you when you're ready over time. So to encompass all of that into one thing, I'm a multi-dimensional, multifaceted, energetic being that explores all of my bounds and all of my limits. I'm here for it all. I'm here to try it all. I'm here to do it all. I'm here to get curious about what I am guided towards, what I'm attracted to. And I'm also here to help people heal from the oppression and from the fear that we experience in this world and on this planet, so that they can have the freedom to explore and express themselves and love themselves as well.
I feel like I mean, that was good. You know why I love what you said is because it activates. No, it was exactly the right length. You know, I was excited to hear every piece of it because it activates within me. Yeah, I identify with that, or I want to identify more with that. And I think that hearing that for me was, you know, also a learning experience for how I know you. It's fun to hear who you see yourself as, you know, because I see it too.
And I see it in you. And we, like, I just have to say, we are like, I don't know what we're doing, but we're fueling each other. We're mirroring each other. We're like, yeah, I'm gaining some things from you and you're gaining some, like, we are elevating together and like coming together and moving apart and giving each other pieces of advice. And it's just like, we are turning into that with each other, with the support of each other, and with the support of the people that see us the way that we see each other. And it's so cool. It is. You know, you're definitely a mirror in my life. You're like truly a soul sister. Truly. Mm-hmm. And it's so cool to see how we have these parallels and we grow like symbiotically, and it's crazy, you guys. I don't know what happens. Maybe you reach like a level or a certain aspect of your spiritual journey where you start to attract these people in your life, and it's like, I feel like I'm looking into a mirror right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
It is crazy. It feels like we're like, boop, 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 boop. You know, all these things we want to achieve and all the things we've seen for ourselves. It's I agree. It's insanely awesome. And I think that it's just further proof of leaning into it so hard, because I want to have so many more relationships like that. And I want you to, I see the potential, even if you want to talk about this podcast, the potential for this community. What if there's a whole sea of people who are just like this?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, think of what we'll achieve as all of us, you know? And I don't even mean like earthly achieve. I mean like spiritually, mentally, all of it achieve, you know?
I definitely agree. Think about it. This is a call. We are calling on our people right now.
Yeah.
Because we are meant to find you, you are meant to find us, and we're meant to do really big things in this life together. Our mission is to change the world for the better.
Yeah.
And that's the other aspect, is change, right?
Yeah.
What I said earlier about some people are going to be like, yes. Other people are going to be like, for example, my dad, he's like, you change all the time. How do you, he just doesn't understand, right?
Yeah.
And that's totally okay. And I've reached this really deep level of acceptance with everything in my life right now. And it's really beautiful, similar to what your and Dave's perspective was around the house of like, it'll all come to me. I'm not putting the pressure on myself anymore.
Yeah.
We're good. You know, I feel so good about that. And also finding acceptance in how much we do change. It's really, it's hard for my human brain to accept fully in how much I do change and how much you do change.
Yeah.
If I looked at Dani a week ago, the really deep healing that I was working through versus how I'm feeling today, I'm like, that feels like a decade ago. So the other aspect of it is for you and I, maybe it won't always be this way. Maybe it's this journey of right now of really diving into everything that we want to explore to one day get to that point of equilibrium of like, okay, I think I got all the pieces. Now I really kind of know what I want, and I'm going to keep really investing in these areas, right? But right now it's like, let's do it all. And so knowing that we are ever changing every single day, we wake up and there's a new archetype to embody. There's a new hat to put on. There's a new space, a new characteristic to get curious about.
Yeah.
Knowing that too, but the core of who you are, of who I are, who I am, we are love, Mo.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are love. We want to give and receive love, to simplify it. Right?
Yeah. You know, I feel like very called to say this right now. When you identify with the things like what we've talked about today, like, you know, love, for example, when you identify as love rather than I'm a whatever your profession is, or I'm a whatever relationship you want to identify with, it radically changes your life because you're no longer afraid of, for example, I have changed what I want to do with my life multiple times. And there's a lot of fear in that. There's a lot of fear in, well, I feel like though everybody knows me as, you know, this person. I feel like everybody knows me as someone who works in marketing, or someone who ran for public office, or someone who, you know, whatever the thing is, or someone who used to be married to someone else. You know, those were big changes that I identified as. And I just want to note that because for those of you who feel like it's really important to root down and ground in things that are of this earth or that you do not have control over, like your job, for example.
Can we say the word attach?
Yeah, attach is the right word.
Grasp.
Yeah.
Cling.
Hold on to these things that you can't control. They're not yours. And so with that can come the potential, and it will come in the future, where you start asking yourself, because they're not real things to root into. It's like, you know, if you're a Christian, it's like building a house on sand, or, you know what I mean? Those references. It is not a strong foundation when you can, and you can also change some of these things we just talked about. But I will say one thing hasn't changed in my life is love. One thing that hasn't changed in my life is wanting to deeply connect with people. These are things that I think when you're talking about your core values of who you are, at every point, whether you decide that you want to, you know, be a teacher one day, and then maybe the next day, I have a friend who's a illustrator and author now, used to be a teacher. he changed, his entire life. And he's so joyful. There's no question in my life he's doing every day exactly what he dreams. And but he was willing to let go of something. So anyway, the reason I wanted to bring that up is just as we're having this conversation, just for those who maybe are wondering what that can translate to in your life and what that can look like. I think that's a place to start. Like with your dad, for example, I'm sure there are things that his ego has attached to that he wants to identify as. And that's why it's hard for him to resonate with change, because to him it would be a loss of who he is.
Yeah. And he's expressed that many times.
Yeah.
And he's an example of many people that we know. Many people on this planet, and there is no wrong in that. I'll say that right now. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not a bad person if you want to, if you want to stay in the norms, to stay comfortable, to stay the same. There is no hierarchy here. This is who we are. And I will never, and I know you won't either, we will bring in humbleness to an extent and never put ourselves on a pedestal and say that wherever you're at on your path right now is beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But if you feel this magnetic attraction to what we're talking about, then it is time for you to explore.
Yeah.
It is time for you to go on that journey and get curious and notice what fears come up and notice where your blocks are and notice what traumas present themselves and notice where you have held yourself back in life. And the thing about the ego, let's talk about that, right? The ego is what wants to identify, right? And that's why, like, sometimes I'm at the point where I'm like, I am nothing and I am everything. I am nothing and I am everything. I'm a vessel, a conduit for source, a conduit for my expansion, for this one human life. Sometimes I truly feel, because I've died 100 times in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Truly. And I still don't really know what aspect of myself creates that desire to be like, this is me, ego death. This is me, ego death. And like you said, those core values stay and my essence is still here.
Yeah.
But the parts of my identity are grasped onto by the ego, because the ego is a part of the mind. The mind is a part of the human. It wants to attach to stay small in order to stay quote unquote safe.
Yeah.
Right? Safe meaning don't take risks. Don't challenge yourself. Don't push yourself past your perceived limits or limitations. And you are this because you were born this way. And if you stay this way, nothing can go wrong. Right? But that's an illusion. That's an illusion. So when you start to do this work and you start to meditate and do breath work, the ego, the mind, starts to get a little bit more quiet. A little bit more quiet. A little bit more quiet. And then in that quietness, in that calm, what presents itself is who you really are, which is your spirit, which is your soul, which is your higher self. It's the ego that wants to attach and say, this is mine, and this person is mine forever, and this house is mine, and this home is mine, and this job is mine, and this part of my characteristic is mine forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And what does that do? It creates this inner tension so that you're so blocked, you're so shut down emotionally, you're so oppressed, your heart is so compartmentalized, your emotions are 10 million miles away that you cannot access them. And you are shut down.
Yeah.
Right? And it's totally understandable to be terrified, like my father, of what am I going to find if I do this? He said that
Yeah.
to me. What am I going to find if I do this?
Yeah.
Am I going to have some sort of existential crisis? Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you let go of this, and then you let go of this, and then you let go of this, and you let go of this, and then your eyes start to open, and your mind begins to clear, and your heart, the amount of male clients I've seen recently that are going through heart chakra expansions right now, and they're crying, and they're like, what the f is happening? I don't get it. They're getting in touch with their emotions. Yes, it feels like a crisis. Back to the word ego death. It feels like a literal death.
Yeah.
Because your ego has taken such a strong hold on these pieces of your identity that as soon as you start to realize they're no longer resonating, you're not going to be able to get to where you want to go with these pieces, you have to mourn it. You have to let it go.
Yeah. You know, I feel like it might be kind of a good exercise to share a little bit about what those voices can sound like and how you might feel. Because for me, I didn't realize what was going on for a while. You know what I mean? It took me a while. So maybe we could share a little bit about like some of those feelings, or even voices. What are some voices you feel like are typical with the ego, trying to play it safe and keep you small? And maybe, honestly, maybe the voice of the ego, I just want to hear what you have to say. I'm having some thoughts too.
You have to say always, this is us together.
Yeah.
You know? So in my experience, the ego is the one telling you you can't.
Yeah.
The higher self is the one telling you you can.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I've been on like the precipice of like tears this whole time. I'm not really sure what's happening, but I feel like my heart is expanding even more as we talk about this subject.
Yeah.
I'm so lit up about this. This has been my whole life's journey.
Mm-hmm.
It has been of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Who am I? Who am I not? What are they telling me to be? Who do I want to be? How am I going to push this boundary? How am I going to go against the grain? How am I going to drop a fucking nuclear bomb on the rules and the system? And how can I be a rebel to my own detriment and also to my own personal self-development in a positive way? And the ego has always been the one telling me, no, don't go for it. You're not good enough. You're not strong enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not capable enough. You're not smart enough. That was a really big one. I was, just a little side story, I was bullied, oh man, since middle school. And predominantly my bullies were people in my family. And it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, I realized when I was saying, oh, I'm such a fucking idiot, or I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
That was one of my family members' voices telling that to me over and over again for years, right? And so the ego attaches to what we also hear externally when our minds are developing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you hear those things come in, like, I want to do this, you get that sense of inspiration, and you're like, this is where I need to go, this is what I'm supposed to create, this is what I need to be doing. That's your higher self. That's your soul. That's your angels, whatever you're connected to, whatever religion or spiritual perspective you have. That initial light up of your entire body and your entire system, that's your higher calling. What creeps in and says, you cannot, you will not, you are not. And then you start to feel that heaviness start to come over you and just anchor you down into the past. That's your ego.
Yeah.
How does it present for you?
Yeah, so very similar. Those voices that you talked about, you know, the fear. For me, when I start feeling not capable, that's immediately a red flag for me. And I'm like, wait, this is some bullshit. I can, I mean, I'm not saying I catch it always right away. Sometimes it festers for a minute. I'm getting my turnaround time improves all the time. For when I feel the feeling, have the awareness of the feeling, allow the feeling to be present, notice it. Why is it presenting itself? What is it trying to tell me? Okay, I can let it go now. It's those fear voices, and what's interesting, the voices in my head, the voices that I heard when I was little is like, you're too loud, you're too much, this is too this. I mean, everything was, extra. Everybody's like, you're being too extra, but they didn't say that back then.
Be more extra, please.
I mean, my soul calls me to be extra, you guys. Like, it feels so right. And so, yeah, it's those voices. It's those voices that, and also because whenever I was little, I, in school, really had a hard time paying attention because it was boring, but the thing is, I actually love learning. I love learning. I'm smart.
About what we want to learn about in the context which would be best for our
exactly
learning needs.
Yeah. And what's amazing is whenever I was in college and I was able to do online classes, everything changed for me because I was able to learn when I was in peak learning times. I was able to honor my body's rhythms, all of the things that are adjacent to Western society and the culture that we've been raised in. So a lot of those voices, whenever I was little, people treated me like I was dumb and that I wasn't capable and would often just move right past me, ignore me altogether, or I would just get in trouble because, again, I was like being too extra. And here's what's really fun. When I learn, I know this is a little bit of a story, but when I really get activated about something, I can't quit asking questions. And that was also not okay. So those are the voices that I've heard. And I'm also glad now to have a lot of awareness that they're not mine. So I really love that you noted that because you can trace those back usually to someone that's not you. So yeah, that's what those voices tell me. And that's when I start to have that recognition that, first of all, it won't help me get where I want to go. And I'm afraid of this thing because it matters. And so that's a really great place to slow down and, tap in. So, that's not my identity. That's not who I am.
That's the tricky aspect, right? It's like about this conversation on identity and self-exploration. What really are we?
Yeah.
What are we really here to do? And if we get super deep and like super philosophical, sometimes I feel like it's just a game.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like this really is just a game of self-love.
Yeah.
The more that you love and accept yourself and understand that, and also love and accept change, the constant of change.
Yeah.
Right? The ebb and the flow of life. As we look outside and the seasons change, you change too. Your perspectives change. Your body changes. Your smile changes. Your energy changes. Your mind changes. Your interests change. I think learning how to lean into that instead of run away from it is another thing that we have a big challenge with. And lean into the fact that no matter how much you change, you will still love yourself. And I think that's why I live the lifestyle that I live. We'll talk about this. I'm a digital nomad. I have been wanting to live this life since I first went to Thailand. I've been wanting to live this life since I was in high school.
Yeah.
And this life encompasses not rooting down, not being attached, being transient, going with the flow, going where you feel pulled, you feel called, you feel insert whatever word you prefer that resonates with you. A pull, a call, a calling, whatever it is. Because the universe is always guiding you where you need to go next. And when you're in an environment that's constantly changing, you're going to constantly change.
Yeah.
And so as I'm constantly changing in this environment that's, never consistent for now, I'm gaining this wisdom and this resilience and this perspective of it doesn't matter who I am exactly. It doesn't matter how much I change. It doesn't matter how much I oscillate between my emotions, from joy to grief to sadness to happiness to love to fear. As long as I remain pure with my intentions, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I wonder too, because you have done a lot of work to have a very clean vessel and to be very channeled in and easily connected to, and to even the work that you do, the breath work, the meditation, and intentionalism, and to allow your energy to flow. I think that also really is amazing with the life that you're experiencing and all the travel that you're able to do because of the position you put yourself in. You're really experiencing them too, because of the work that you do. So it's that's really powerful. So I just want to note on that for a minute, how powerful you're also experiencing these changes because of, if you listen to episode 2, I believe, where we talked about holistic healing, that's a really important thing that you've done to make sure that you are able to receive the information downloads that will lead to new discoveries and further exploration that open you up to a more expanded being. And also just it's like everything you do, it speaks to the life you're living and the identity that you've developed and that you continue to develop. You're really just doing beautiful work.
Thank you. And you are doing it right there with me, and in the journey of self, be the explorer. You don't have to live this lifestyle to get to this point, right? You don't have to throw yourself into the fire, which is what I do with constant change in my environment, right? Literally keep throwing, finding what's working and what's not, right? But be the explorer, be curious. And if you can't get to that point of clarity, start with the body. My journey started, unintentionally as an athlete with exercise. And then unintentionally getting curious about nutrition, and then yoga, and then all of those pieces started to fall into place, right? And so your point being, if you want to get to this point of hearing that divine guidance, feeling that energetic pull, knowing that you're supposed to go to certain places and experience certain things, these visions, these connection to these future timelines, start with the body.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we have been on this philosophical conversation of what it means to be us and what it means to be human and who we are and what we're not and the fact that we're actually everything and nothing. So we hope you enjoyed that journey because today was just a conversation around self-exploration for us, around what it means to be human and in these vessels. And so we want to ground down some like really tactical pieces or tools or steps for you to take in order to start this journey of self, the journey of self, the path of self-exploration, of self-love. What I want to ask you, Mo, really quick though.
Yeah.
When did your path start and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly the moment that it first started because my inkling is that it started the first time I questioned what really mattered to me or what I believed. And does that match the life that I'm currently living? You know what I mean? Like those pulls that your heart has. Yeah. So I know that's, even though I can't pinpoint what the very first moment is that I felt that, what I can say without a doubt is I followed it enough that it led me to this point, you know, that yeah. When I heard that first call, that pulling of my soul toward the light, you know, it was like, oh, you know, it's like the heavens parted and, oh, you know, I knew exactly what was for me. And, you know, I'm sure it had something to do around my expression because I've never really let go of being really loud. I've never really let go of being super extra about certain things or about my expression. So I feel an inkling that even though I can't identify it, that it has something to do with holding on to what my heart has felt is true for me, you know? So that I think has to be it. And what that means to me is everything, but because this is what will guide me along the way toward what's next for me and my expansion as a human. You know, I have things to do here, you know, and not in like an urgent way of like tasks on a list, but I'm ready to experience all the love, what we talked about earlier, how I identify. I'm ready to experience all the love. I'm ready to experience the fullness of a relationship, my relationship with you. You know, you're probably one of the closest. I've never felt a relationship like I feel with you. So I don't want to label it, but like with another friend in this way. Do you know what I mean? Obviously I have my relationship with Dave and it's different, but,
we're family.
Yeah, we're family. And so I you know, I want more of this. And so I just feel, I feel more and more compelled toward these things and I'm going to continue to listen. And so this is everything to me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about for you?
Well, I want to say something really quick.
Yeah.
This is a component of me that I didn't touch on earlier and that I'm starting to grasp more and more and see more and more, have more awareness around. And I am merely a reflection of what you put out into this world. And that's why for me, maybe it's because I'm sensitive or this is just what I'm here to do, is to reflect. When I'm around love and light and understanding and open hearts, I reflect that back. I reflect that back. When I'm around tension or pain or chaos, I reflect that back. So part of my gifts is, this happens to me a lot, Mo. I go into places here, everywhere I go to in the world.
Yeah.
People say, you remind me of somebody. Have we met? And I think that's because my heart is just so open and pure that I'm reflecting back to them what they're emitting. And so whatever you see in me, whatever you're grateful for in me is what you've already given me, and I'm just returning it.
Oh. Yeah.
And for me, this journey started the day I was born. I came out and I was like, what is this noise? Something ain't right here. What is this? You know,
wait, it was all peaceful just then.
Right? Yeah. My soul is so curious and rebellious, and she's a badass bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's a rebel without a cause, and now we got a cause. But we
Yeah.
didn't know what that cause was for a really long time. And it started at a really young age, you know? And I think, to me, it is everything as well.
Yeah.
It's everything, because the more I dive deeper within myself, my psyche, my essence, my calling, my nature, my patterns, my thoughts, my fears, my desires, the more that I free within myself, the more I can free within others, the more we can free within this planet, the more freedom we can create as a collective. So it's not just about me, it's not just about you, it's about all of us together. Right?
Yeah.
Creating, like you've said so many times, that ripple effect of I can be me, I can love me, even the parts that aren't widely accepted, so that you can have the same. I can help you find that and cultivate that within yourself. So it's everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really exciting too to think about life that way. You know, it really it does bring it brings a lot of joy when you feel that way, which continues to fuel the fire, man. So that's what I want to add to that. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Hey, we hope you like our accents. What are the first few steps that you would, to wrap this all up in a pretty little bow, but a bow that's accessible, or a present, or a gift, or a box that's accessible to everybody, no matter where they're at on their journey? Clearly we've been doing this for a while, so our vernacular, our thought process, our philosophical stream of consciousness can be a bit overwhelming, I'm sure. Me and you were like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, all over the place.
How can we pack this up?
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I think what you said earlier about it begins with following the pull of our hearts, and why I say that's the first part. It's the only place to start. It's literally the guidance from your body, from your soul, from every part of who you are. It is the part of you that you're trying to get to, saying, hey, that's for me. That's for us. That's ours. And so really following that, and being aware that the moment you hear that, you might have some nasty voices pop in your head. Like, who the F? Yeah. Real nasty. That's what you call your inner critic or your ego. And give it I like to also say, give that a name. That's been helpful for me. That was something that my first coach, Anna, taught me, is to recognize that inner critic and that ego.
Is it
and
Karen?
My inner critic. She her name is Birdie String Cheese. She's a little green monster with pink spikes. Birdie String Cheese.
Birdie?
Yeah.
I think oh my God.
The thing is, I knew that I had to make it a fun name because I didn't want to hate her, because I know her mission isn't to hurt me, So she became Birdie String Cheese. And one day I'll give you guys the whole rundown of how I came up with that name. But I thought a lot about it, and there was a lot put into figuring that name out. And I love Birdie String Cheese, you know. And so give your inner critic a voice so that you can talk to it, you can have a relationship with it. And that's really been huge for me, because I'm like, you know, Birdie, she's getting tooted up. She's ready to rock. She's, you know, just shaking shit up in my head. Right. And I love her, but she's not me, and that's not my thought, and that's not my voice, and it's not mine. Thank you for sharing, Birdie. I'm gonna go on, and I'm gonna follow that pull in my heart, or I'm at least gonna start with asking questions and getting really curious about it. It can start with like searching something on the internet, or looking up a hashtag on TikTok and just seeing other people who are doing the thing that you're like, oh my God, that's for me. That I think would be where I would encourage people to start. So how about you? What do you think? Or what would you add to that? Or how would you encompass it in a nutshell getting started?
There has to be some sort of level of relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart to think that people go their whole lives not developing that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's understandable, again, you know, survival mode, doing what you need to do in order to get by, in order to just live, right? And it's still possible to develop some sort of relationship with yourself, some sort of level of awareness through the practices that we will keep on talking about until it's beaten into your brain. Sitting in silence or spending alone time with yourself. Some people are like,
yeah,
you know, it's like
I used to be one of them.
In others, we will prioritize all of our time with others for other people.
Yeah.
How can you develop a relationship with yourself and then start this exploration, this journey of self-love, understanding your identity, if you haven't even spent time with yourself in your entire life? Because in that silence, all of the answers are present. Your thoughts are pulling you towards where you need to observe. You have, just like you said, observing those negative thoughts without judgment, but with understanding and following the root of where they come from. And those thoughts lead to a root that has a wound. The root is the wound. What is the wound? Is it abandonment, betrayal, unworthiness? That's up to you to understand and decide. But the only way you can perceive that with clarity and compassion is developing a practice where you prioritize yourself and you prioritize listening to the messages that your brain and your body and your spirit are constantly emitting to you, through you and through the universe, internally and externally. And then you will also tap into the, okay, I'm hearing like I'm kind of wanting to explore this.
Yeah.
Kind of wanting to explore this. Kind of wanting to explore this. Kind of wanting to explore this. And then it becomes a dance, right? You're like, oh, here, here. And then you become that master explorer of your life, of yourself, of your journey.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. And I think what's important for people, so like your dad, whenever he said, what will I find when I, basically he was saying, what will I find when I go to that root, that wound?
Terrifying.
That's what he knows, that's a wound.
Yeah.
And so just again, I guess just to take it back to those who are listening, even what we talked about at the very beginning of this conversation, that's why it's so important to do this work. because then, just like Dani was doing just now, and she was like, I kind of want to explore this, and then and it is fun that way, you know. But if you are in that place where you're just afraid of your wound, and so you just shut it down and you never explore it, you're also just really not allowing the light at all to live. And so it's, you know, I think it's so important that you bring it back to that. There is a wound there, and then you trace up and you can discover more and get curious. And again, because the thing is, none of this is your fault. You aren't to blame. We aren't wrong. We aren't bad. We aren't too loud. We aren't stupid. We aren't screwing everything up, you know. And so you discover all those things, and that, first of all, what you've been holding on to this whole time, it isn't even real. And so then that release of
past.
Exactly. And it also just makes everything a whole lot less scary when you realize, oh, it's not, you know, my however old self you are, you know, it's not my current age's actual fear. It's the fear that I had when I was this age, and I've been hanging on to it for a long time, and I'm ready to release it, and I'm ready to love the me at 7 years old who became afraid of that, or who latched onto that and developed a lot of coping mechanisms around it. And so I think that journey you just took us through is huge, because it really does bring us back to that tactical place of like, this is the journey, and this is how you discover. And of course, what you discover will change and be, you know, all your own. Typically, though, that's how that journey travels down. And then it goes right back up, and you're like, you know, that's when that limitlessness is realized.
That was so epic, dude.
What? I received that?
And oh my gosh, you're so right. You said something about latching on so tightly in fear of looking at your deepest wounds, but in return you're killing the light, or the ability for the light to exist within you.
Yeah.
And this quote, this is a Dani original, I've never heard it anywhere.
Ooh, yeah, I can't wait for this.
Would you rather allow old pieces of you to die off so that you can create something new, or latch on so much that you kill the potential of the light living within you?
Oh, that's good.
Would you rather allow old parts of your ego to die, or kill that future potential within by holding on too much, by fearing letting go? And, you know, part of that is inspired by you. So,
oh my gosh, no, that's great. That is so good. And I think
about it. Like, what would you rather choose? You want to kill parts inside of you internally? You want to kill your future potential? Or you want to kill these parts of your ego? You get to choose, so that you expand.
Well,
kill
here's
to
something.
Shut down, or kill to expand?
Here's another thought. What if it's already dead? Like we said we weren't. We said we were going to make it like back down to earth.
We're on a philosophical
to be continued. I have another crazy theory, but no, I think that's a great place to start. Like,
go.
Okay, so here's my theory. The thing is, it doesn't even exist. So you're imagining you're going to have to kill something, but you really don't. You're just actually releasing it, like it's a spaceship, and you're out. And you've got this, you know how they do like Starship Troopers. Okay, just so everybody knows, Starship Troopers is my favorite movie. And so they release these, when they have funerals, they release these like caskets out into space. And so anyway, it's kind of like imagining you're just actually like releasing this casket of this, you know, this part of yourself that actually is dead and maybe really never was real, and it's all just something you made up. And but that's not to minimize it or act like, oh well, you've just been you know. But yeah, that was just another theory I wanted to throw out there too. Is like,
would you rather release these old parts of you that were never yours to begin with in order to create new potential for your future, or hold on to these parts of you internally and that potential dies with that. Right? It's like when you hold on, you're not seeing the potential that you can accomplish.
Yeah.
When these parts are released.
Yeah.
And kill is definitely a dramatic word, but
you know what though? I actually really think that it makes, like, it would be better on a t-shirt than what we just came up with. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to remember those. So like, if there's a good way to like get people, you know, to remember, and honestly, I remember it that way better. So I like it. I kind of like it better the way we started. So maybe we just go.
It's like either way, a part of you dies.
Yeah.
An old version of you or a potential.
And you the potential of truly living. It's like, you know, you may not be dead, but are you alive?
Right.
That's a question we can only ask ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
are you living to just live, or are you living to thrive?
Yeah. Should that be our challenge this week for everyone?
Yeah.
Is to just ask yourself those questions.
Absolutely.
Whichever style you liked best.
Yeah, and you know you're clinging when you are constantly in a state of stress.
Yeah.
That is a huge indicator that something within you or within your life is no longer in alignment with who you are and where you're supposed to be going on your path. A consistent tension in your chest. For me, it shows up in my chest, in my throat, in my stomach. Every day, I feel like I should leave this job. Oh, I feel like I should heal my body. Oh, I feel like I should leave this relationship, but you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So our question for you, the challenge this week, ask yourself this, write about it, right? What am I clinging to desperately while simultaneously hoping it would change? This can be a characteristic, part of your identity, something, a job, a relationship. What aspect of yourself right now are you clinging to in desperation, out of fear of what could potentially happen if you release it? And I'll say this right now. I have only gained more than I could ever believe was possible when I listened to that tension and I released what was no longer serving me. I only gained more.
Yeah. I honestly have nothing else to add. I think that's exactly the way to think about this episode. And, you know, obviously this is a deep topic that we covered today, and I think it would be fun to explore again. And also, I think it would be really great to just hear from those of you who are listening and those who are watching on YouTube. Where else would you like to explore this conversation? Because, you know, I'm finding, Dani, that a lot of the conversations we could have like multiple parts. So this is like, it's really fun. It's fun to explore these topics with you. And it's also just fun to have a space again where we can get curious with each other and also share what we've experienced from our own lessons. And then also, as two people who are coaching others, you know, and what we've seen. Yeah. Because, you know, there's just a lot of evidence out there that if you want to identify with all kinds of different beautiful colors of the rainbow, you have your choice. Take your pick, you know? So, yeah, I think we talk about this again for sure. And I would personally just love to ask people to, you know, shoot us a message or comment or reach out to us, either one of us. I just want to hear from you. I'm really curious to see how people are reflecting from this conversation and what else you'd love to know. So.
Yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, send to your family members that are going to get triggered by it. Yes. Send to all of your lovers. Send to them on this planet. Because you with us, you listening, watching, you are in this community. You are part of our culture and our mission to create freedom, expansion, and love, anchor love into this planet. So the more hands on deck, the more we can accomplish.
I feel like we should put our hands together. Break.
1, 2, 3. Woo! We love you guys.
Amazing. Yes, we love you so much.
The twists and turns of your brain as you listen to this expansive philosophical conversation.
And thanks for going along for the ride. Mwah!